inhibitor, and similar drugs are roxithromycin, erythromycin, clarithromycin, and telithromycin. And its mechanism of action is same to that of erythromycin. Now, moving on to its indications, uses. Now, it is more active against, azithromycin is more active against Haemophilus influenza, and it's highly active against chlamydia species. So it can be given as first choice drug for chlamydia trachomatis, donovanosis, synchroid, and PPNG urethritis. PPNG means penicillin is producing Neisseria gonorrhoeae. And it can also be given on pharyngitis, tonsillitis, sinusitis, and otitis media, and community-acquired pneumonia. Now, adverse effects include mild gastric upset, headache, and dizziness. So, gastric upset is not that severe as compared to erythromycin. Now, drug interaction, this aluminum and magnesium antacids, they decrease the effects of azithromycin by delaying its absorption. So, thank you this much for today. Thank you, everyone.
Excellent. Very good. Rachana, you did very well. To the point. Okay, so we expect the same. I expect the same for rest of your friends as well. Particularly, I like the animation you produced. Very good. You are talented.
Thank you.
I don't know that. Anyway, is everyone clear about it? Can you please go to the animation slide 4. Yeah. So I am again repeating. I'm again repeating the same thing. Like Rachana tried for this one regarding mechanism of action, you can also try doing that. It's not necessary you do animation in the software or any programs in the computer. You can also draw the stepwise steps of the protein synthesis and which step is inhibited, what happens, those things in your own, on your own in your notebook. Okay, so that is my point. I have been saying that before as well. If you can draw on your own, then you will never forget. Okay, you can even teach others. You did much more better than I did in my lecture. So it is very, very good. Excellent. Okay, and other friends, your other colleagues also, they tried their best. They did excellent work before as well. I am very, very impressed with your batch. So till now, whoever have presented, they all were excellent. Okay, and everybody, I think they are equally excellent, and you have understood in the same extent, to the same extent you have gone through them. Okay, so उसले जति लेखेको छ त्यो सबैले जानेको छ भनेर म बुझ्छु. रचना represented this time. फेरि अर्को टाइम कसैले represent गर्ला, किनभने एकजना दुईजनाले मात्र गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ एउटा ड्रपको लागि. त्यो भए पनि सबैले यही आधारमा गरेको होला भन्ने मलाई लाग्छ है. सबैलाई प्रब्लम छैन होला, कसैलाई पनि प्रब्लम छैन होला. र तिमीहरूले जसले यो बनाउन नसके पनि it doesn't matter है. It is so beautiful. तिमीहरूले आफ्नो उसमा draw गरे पनि हुन्छ. That indicates that you can do that in your notebooks and in your exam paper as well. And one thing I need to tell you, Rachana, यो भन्दा अगाडिको स्लाइडमा जानु यहाँ.
This one?
Here I want to correct you. You have written 4th step here, but you haven't labeled step 4 in your cartoon, right?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
So please, you can remove 4th step.
Okay, ma'am.
If you have written 4th step here, indicate there as well, label it there as well. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so that can misguide somebody. Here, whoever is participant here, the classroom, the students, and I understand this. But somebody else who will be examining you or who will be looking at this one may not understand it. So you can just remove it if you don't want to label in your picture, in your cartoon, or you can label in the cartoon and then just keep as it is, this one. है मैले पहिला पनि भनेको स्टेप नम्बर अरूलाई पनि भन्दैछु. स्टेप तिमीहरूलाई लेख्न मन लाग्छ भने लेभल पनि लेख्ने र त्यो स्टेप के हो लेख्ने प्रयास गर्ने है, नत्र भए बुझ्दैन. यो चाहिँ लेक्चरमा जति यतिकै एक्सप्लेन गर्नलाई ठिक छ, तर तिमीहरूलाई पनि त्यस्तै गर्नु मन छ भने you can definitely do that, but you have to draw the picture as well as you have to level it. Okay, so Abhinay Upadhyayale timलाई एकदम compliment दिएको जस्तो लाग्यो chatमा के छ भनेर हेर्दा. It's good. Yeah, everybody can do like this as well. Okay, so all the best and very good, excellent. So you can now quit. If somebody has problem, any questions you can ask. Questions are केही नबुझेको है अनि यो मलाई लेखेको एकदम राम्रो लाग्यो प्रिमेच्योरली टर्मिनेट हुन्छ भनेर. That is very good. प्रिमेच्योरली टर्मिनेट हुन्छ भन्ने बित्तिकै प्रोटिनको पेप्टाइड लेभल पुगेन हैन कतिवटा हुनुपर्ने पुगेन सबै कम्प्लिट भएन के रे नम्बर अफ द amino acids that was not sufficient, that was not appropriate, that was not accurate for the synthesis of the protein. And before the protein synthesis completes, the protein synthesis inhibition took place in erythromycin. Okay, so if you have no problem, I am again going to continue with aminoglycosides. Did you try to look at aminoglycosides mechanism of action? Okay, if I would have done like Rachana did just now, I think it would have been much more easier. I think. Also clear हुन्थ्यो होला उसको भिडियो हेरेको जस्तै थियो. So you can try drawing that from current slide. Yeah. Okay, regarding aminoglycosides mechanism of action, we went through with the help of this cartoon in previous lecture. Any confusion still now? And I told you before that aminoglycosides still in some of the textbook, you will be finding it within or under protein synthesis inhibitor. Protein synthesis inhibitor ko under mai pani dekhiraheko huncha timarle. But what is the difference? It is very important to be known. हैन अस्ति मैले क्लासिफिकेसन मेकानिजम एक्सनको बेसिसमा सोध्दाखेरि एउटा तिमीहरुको कलिगले भनेको थियो. What is the difference? We knew that from mechanism of action as well. So it has been kept separately. But still you have to understand that it is a protein synthesis inhibitor of bacteria. But what is the difference between rest 3 of the drugs which inhibited protein synthesis? Tetracycline, chloramphenicol, and erythromycin group of drug, which we studied before. And macrolide. My answer at the moment can be it is irreversible protein synthesis inhibitors. Whereas REST3, which we studied before, they were reversible protein synthesis inhibitors. And at the therapeutic concentration, they are bacteriostatic. And at higher concentration, they can have bactericidal effect to certain bacteria. Okay? In contrast to those three groups of drug which belong to protein synthesis inhibitor, or which inhibited the growth of bacteria by inhibiting their protein synthesis by various mechanisms, aminoglycosides, they inhibit protein synthesis of bacteria irreversibly by 3 different mechanisms which occur simultaneously. Okay, so little bit in different way aminoglycosides acted, and aminoglycosides are bactericidal in nature, not bacteriostatic. Okay, that is the difference. Irreversible protein synthesis inhibitor has been kept separately, no matter in some of the textbook, it has been still kept in the protein synthesis inhibitor, but please know the difference. And follow the classification which I have shown according to K.D. Tripathi, because the examiner will be examining on that basis. We have to follow the outlines on that, but the text, the inner materials, you have to understand. Okay, so first aminoglycoside is irreversible protein synthesis inhibitors. Second, the mechanism of action, it's not only one mechanism of action simultaneously, there are 3 mechanisms of action. If in a whole, we are going to study aminoglycosides as it is. We will know the drugs which act by only one step of protein synthesis inhibition, or all the 3 steps or 2 steps. We will come across that as well in this lecture, today's lecture. And third is, it is bactericidal in nature. Irreversible protein synthesis inhibitor. Next is mechanism of action, little bit different. Different. Others are also in between themselves. in comparison to each other, they are different. But here, aminoglycosides have bit robust mechanism of action. And third is, it is bactericidal in nature. Okay, so please keep it separately as in classification based on mechanism of action, causes misreading of mRNA and alters the permeability of cell. So when the protein synthesis is inhibited, when misreading of mRNA takes place, then the cell membrane also becomes viable to be broken down. Okay, so it helps in that way as well. But let's remember it as those drug which causes misreading of mRNA. So again, let's have a look in the same cartoon. Then I have that in the flow chart as well. So this is the cartoon. It's in your screen showing the steps, like very basic steps, 4 steps, not in the molecular level and not in the way that Rachana had just shown, but her presentation made me very easy, like made my work very easy, that I can now trust that everybody has that in your head. Because just now she has explained quite well, she has shown that animation. So those things are happening. That is again revision for you. So you can understand what has happened within these things, within the 50S and 30S ribosome, as she has shown. Okay, so she has quite nicely shown this step, and this one you have to remember that first in the mRNA strand, 30S subunit binds and there is initiation codon. They will be exposing the codons. You know that in molecular level. I cannot show it here. And then next is the 50S subunit will bind, and within that protein synthesis takes place by the elongation of the peptide chain. That means amino acids will be incorporated with the help of the tRNA, and uncharged tRNA will be released, and it can carry other amino acid if they require. So the name of the amino acids, we are not going to move on to that level, but you know the name of amino acids. We have just marked as 1, 2, 3, 4 just to indicate that which one has come first, and showing the elongation of the peptide chain. So I told you before that these all things are happening in normal bacterial cell. Now when you give aminoglycosides, we are now interested to see where does it act and what will happen. Definitely it is going to inhibit protein synthesis, but how? Okay, so as per the cartoon taken from Katjung, you can also find it in the Google. You can see that the first there is the blockade of the initiation complex. So you have to know where aminoglycosides bind. So aminoglycosides is indicated with black triangle here. It will first bind with the 30S subunit, and maybe there is conformational change. They require initiation codon may not be exposed, and the 50S subunit may not be able to bind here. First 30S 50S bind like that. Appropriate codon expose हुनुपर्ने हुन्छ तर aminoglycosides 30S मा bind भइदिएर चेन्ज गरिदिन्छ र 50S आएर bind हुन सक्दैन अथवा दुई चारवटा अरु बनिसकेको थियो भने even if the polysomes have been formed, more than one ribosome have been formed, it doesn't matter. Okay, they can even be broken down to the non-functional monosomes. So monosomes, they are non-functional, or the polysomes will not form because aminoglycosides say 30S ma bind huncha, and ribosomal 50 subunit will not be able to bind with 30S. Even if banisakeko cha bhane, if it has already been made, it has already been formed, it will be broken down. Okay, so first step, because of binding with 30S subunit. Second, simultaneously it is happening. Second is, I told you that simultaneously there are other things happening. It's not only one bacteria in the body. There may be others, or you can assume like that. Okay, this is just the indication. And in second step, as shown over here, the aminoglycoside group of drug, unlike other protein synthesis inhibitor, can also bind with the 30S, 50S interface. दुईटाको जंक्सनमा पनि bind हुन सक्दो रहेछ. Okay, it can bind with the 30S, 50S interface or junction. So when it binds there, what can happen is that the protein, the bacteria or the protein synthesis, the code will be different. So the peptide chain will be miscoded. That means maybe because of that, when aminoglycoside bind with that interface, the wrong amino acid will be inserted. No, wrong amino acid will be incorporated, or the tRNA carrying the wrong amino acid that was supposed to be taken to somewhere else, maybe that will be taken to our, in that bacteria. And then that is indicated with the square shapes here. And even if there is peptide chain formation, elongation, the form chain or the protein will be non-functional. That cannot make the bacteria survive. Okay, this happens because of binding of aminoglycoside group of drug with the interface of 30S, 50S ribosomal subunit. Okay, and we have one more step, very straightforward. Simultaneously, there can be wrong amino acids incorporated as indicated here, or even before that also when there is right protein, right amino acids here. But when aminoglycoside is given, this black triangle can also bind to 50S ribosomal subunit. Okay, and that inhibits the translocation step like just now Rachana showed. So that will, this whole step, 3 subsequent steps, simultaneous steps, simultaneously that is happening. So that can prevent the protein synthesis, and that is irreversible in nature. Okay. So with this, if you have understood this, then I can now show you the text, okay? Written form of mechanism of action. So like for others, I'm going to start with how it enters the bacteria. So we have to know, as I have emphasized before starting aminoglycosides again, aminoglycosides, they inhibit protein synthesis irreversibly, whereas others, they do by reversible mechanism. So aminoglycosides enter the cell, that is bacteria, by passive diffusion. Okay, by passive diffusion via pore channels in the bacterial cell, aminoglycoside gets access into the periplasmic membrane first. So the step is, there is one more additional step regarding entry of aminoglycosides here. Have a look here. Again, I'm going to tell you, aminoglycosides, when it is administered, when they are administered, it via pore channels by passive diffusion reaches the periplasmic membrane first, does not directly enter the cell. First, they reach the periplasmic membrane. Then from the periplasmic membrane, they are actively transported across cell membrane by oxygen-dependent process. So you have to remember that there is requirement of oxygen in the environment. That means it may not work it doesn't work in the anaerobic condition, or with anaerobic bacteria, it has no effect. It cannot act on anaerobic bacteria because it cannot get access inside the cell. Because when they are given, first it gets access into the periplasmic membrane via pore channels of bacteria. And from there, actively, they get transported across cell membrane by oxygen-dependent process. Then only in cytoplasm, they reach. Okay, so once it reaches there inside cell, what happens? We can have a look. Same thing as explained before. Those cartoon, you can keep that in your mind at the moment before looking at the text. That makes life a lot more easier and simple. Okay, we have already seen that in cartoon. So aminoglycosides inside the cell, they bind to specific 30S ribosomal subunit, keeping it very simple. Additionally, to 50S and 30S, 50S interface except streptomycin. Have a look here. I have mentioned one name, streptomycin. Actually, this is prototype of aminoglycoside group of drug. Okay, there are some limitations because of which this drug lost its popularity nowadays, but still we are going to look at it. So streptomycin is prototype aminoglycoside which acts by binding with 30S ribosome only. It cannot bind with 50S and 30S, 50S interface. Okay, so the first step according to the cartoon, that is inhibited by streptomycin. And rest 2, on rest 2, it has no effect. Okay, so streptomycin binds with 30S ribosomal subunit and inhibit the polysome formation, or even polysome, if polysome has formed, that will be broken down to monosomes, or initiation complex will fail to occur. Okay, and rest of the drug, they can additionally bind to 50S and 30S 50S interface. I usually find this question in MCQs, and very favorite question, one of the favorite question for the examiner, for oral examination, Viva. Okay, किन होला यहाँ के कन्फ्युज हुन सक्छ त अहिले त नहोला. For I told you that for protein synthesis inhibitor, when you have anxiety or when you are hurry or you have limited time, you have like you can be confused most of the time. When we have anxiety, we can get confused. So tetracycline binds to 30S, chloramphenicol to 50S, rest you will know. Those are the places, the target sites are the places where the students gets confused, and rest will be fine in most of the cases in my experience. So tetracycline 30S, chloramphenicol 50S, erythromycin 50S, where does aminoglycoside bind? Maybe in MCQ, if the question is just for aminoglycoside, then there should be option of all these 3 sites. But the question can be synthesized in such a way that which of the following aminoglycoside group of drug bind to 30S ribosomal subunit? You have to know it is streptomycin. Or all of the following drugs, there may not be a word mentioned, aminoglycoside, all of the following drugs bind to 50S ribosomal subunit except. The exception can either be tetracycline or streptomycin, for example. Or all of the following drugs bind to 30S, 50S ribosomal subunit or interface of the ribosomes, except. In that case, there should not be, there can be streptomycin, there can be tetracycline as exception, and other aminoglycosides they can bind. So in that way, MCQs can be synthesized from this point. And I have seen most of the students, they get confused when the direct question will be fired, like, where is the target site of, what is the target site of aminoglycosides? Okay, so you have to practice for answer as well. बुझे है मैले भनेको? Okay. So after this, what happened? We knew that, so that is written here in the text. So after binding with 30S ribosomal subunit, aminoglycosides, they interfere with the initiation complex of peptide formation. If you just remember this, you can just write this much. Or you can go further beyond like this, okay? So this prevents polysome formation and promote their breakup into non-functional monosomes. So this step, the first step, happens according to the cartoon by binding with the 30S ribosome. So all the aminoglycosides, they can do that. There is no exception for binding with specific 30S ribosomal subunit. Okay, whereas for step 2, they induce misreading of mRNA by binding with 30S 50S interface. Sorry, 50S, 30S 50S interface. Sorry. Induce misreading of mRNA and form non-functional protein, because wrong amino acids will be incorporated within, and even if there is peptide chain growth or elongation of peptide chain, that will be non-functional, that will be of no use. And this step has no relation with streptomycin. Streptomycin doesn't do that, okay? That is exception, and rest they can. And by binding with 50S ribosome, they block translocation step on mRNA. Okay, so what happens is that these 3 steps, they can happen simultaneously. That will happen simultaneously when you give aminoglycosides. So one exception of drug is there, though it is prototype. Streptomycin can only bind with 30S ribosomal subunit, so only it interferes with the initiation complex of peptide formation, hence preventing polysome formation and also promoting their breakup into non-functional monosomes. Rest of the drugs, they do all these 3 steps. One is initiation complex will be interfere, second is cause misreading of mRNA, and third is they block translocation step. By binding with where? You know that. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, here the question can be there now again. For spotter, okay, today also we will be picking one. For spotter, you won't be able to write all these things. So you might ask me, or before you ask, I'm discussing, what shall you write? If it is streptomycin, it is quite straightforward, isn't it? You can just write this one. If it is gentamicin, for example, I would suggest you not to miss this one. At least not to miss this one. Because you have to be a bit clever here. Clever in bad way or good way, I don't know. Like it's there in the classification, it causes misreading of mRNA, isn't it? So at least every one of you in your classroom, 80 of you, should be able to write this one. And I know that, I'm sure that you can even write this one within 1 minute. Binds to 50S ribosomal subunit and 50S interface and cause this. If time permits, it can, but the examiner will also be wise that there won't be time to do this. And you can keep this idea, you can keep your knowledge within yourself, and you can keep it, reserve it for answering in Viva. You can add whatever you like, okay? And in theory, you can do all. Is that clear? बुझे है सबैले मैले के भन्दैछु जति पनि रिप्रेजेन्ट जसले गर्छ बुझिसकेकै होला फेरि एकचोटी भन्दैछु मैले नेपालीमा पनि यदि हामीलाई स्ट्रेप्टोमाइसिनको स्पटरमा सोध्यो भने तिमीले अहिले उसमा लेख्नु पर्यो भने फर एक्जाम्पल ड्रग प्रोफाइल गर्नु पर्यो नि फर्स्ट स्टेप 30S मा बाइन्ड हुने कुरा मात्र लेख्छु हैन इनिसिएसन कम्प्लेक्स अफ पेप्टाइड फर्मेसनलाई इन्टरफेयर गर्छ भनेर अथवा अर्को त्यसपछि पोलिजम फर्म हुन दिदैन अथवा फर्म भइसकेको पोलिजमलाई पनि मोनोजोममा टुक्रा गरिदिन्छ भनेर बुझ्छ अब कुरा आयो जेन्टामिसिन दिएर भेरी पपुलर ड्रग आई एम गोइङ टु शो द characteristics as well. We are discussing them here. Gentamicin सोध्यो भने के लेख्ने म्याम भन्ने पनि भइरहेको होला अथवा सोचेकै छैन पनि होला it doesn't matter. So for theory, I have no problem. I understand you can do. For presentation also, you have no problem. You can include all of them. But really, if you appear in this spot or in station in exam, then or your opening sentence in your Viva should be it causes misreading or induces misreading of mRNA. So second step, you can write. So 80 of you can write it. It is mandatory that everybody should remember. Write where does it bind and then say, okay? And then write. And third step, I'm sure you can manage the time. If not, do not worry. You can get marks there because you have to think of marks as well. Buze? Buze ki buze na?
Yes, ma'am.
Have I confused you or made you confident? I always fail to do that. जहिले मैले फिल गर्ने म धेरै तिमीलाई कन्फ्युजन हटाउन खोज्दा झन् कन्फ्युजन गराइराखेको पनि हुन्छ कहिले हैन सो आई टेन्ड टु ओभरडु द थिंग्स दैट इज माय लिमिटेसन आई फिल लाइक दैट त्यही भएर तिमीहरूले एकचोटी यसै आफै पनि हेर्ने आज रचनाले आफैले लेखे जस्तै आफैले लेख्ने अथवा कार्टुन बनाउन थालेर आफ्नो स्टाइलमा नोट बनाउनु मेरो नोट्स मात्र हेरेर ह्यान्ड्स आउट हेरेर हुँदैन त्यो भयो भने एक्जाममा पढ्नै पर्दैन जस्ट 1 आवर रिभिजन गर्यो भने एउटा सिस्टमले 1 आवर गर्यो भने सिधिन्छ नत्र टाइम भ्याउँदैन यु वन्ट बी ह्याभिङ मोर डेज ब्रेक एक दिन ब्रेक हुन्छ हैन प्र्याक्टिकलमा त ब्रेकै हुँदैन ओके देन आई विल मुभ अहेड So, mechanism of resistance again, following the same outline. So, sometimes the bacteria, they can produce the enzyme, okay, which can inactivate the aminoglycosides by various steps like adenylation, acetylation, phosphorylation. I have not mentioned the name of the enzyme. For adenylation, the enzyme will be different. So do for acetylation and phosphorylation. It is more clear for you. You know better. And there can be impaired entry of aminoglycoside into the cell. We have seen that it has two steps. First, it reaches from porin channels to the periplasmic membrane. Then from there again, with oxygen-dependent transport system, it gets access into the cytoplasm. So during that process, the entry can be impaired by bacteria because of various modifications, and drug resistance or aminoglycosides resistance can occur. And sometimes there can be because of mutation, the target protein can be altered. For example, The binding site in 30S may be altered. 30S, 50S sites may be altered. 50S may be altered, like we discussed for other drugs. So these are three possible mechanisms, potential mechanism behind the resistance produced against aminoglycoside group of drugs. Coming to its antibacterial spectrum, I never forget this from my childhood. Highly active against aerobic gram-negative rods. Okay, you have to remember this. This aminoglycoside group of drug is highly active against aerobic. Remember aerobic gram-negative rods like E. coli, Shigella, Klebsiella pneumoniae, etc. And less active on gram-negative cocci. Okay, Pseudomonas aeruginosa, for that, gentamicin, tobramycin, they are more active, pseudoamicacin and netilmicin. Fewer differences I have also tried to incorporate here, just summarize here, like these 4 drugs which belong to aminoglycosides. At the moment, it might not be in your head, remember the names. They are very active or very effective against this Pseudomonas aeruginosa. For mycobacteria, streptomycin, kanamycin, and amikacin, they are effective. So let me tell you here, and also in therapeutic uses it will come, or you might be knowing as well, in the anti-tubercular therapy, in the drug therapy of tuberculosis caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis, these drugs are effective. Okay, you will again be encountering the name of these drugs in the respiratory block, respiratory system, when you will be taught about tuberculosis. Few updates have been made. Anyway, in textbook, it's same now. For enterococci, they all are effective. For anaerobes, none of them are susceptible. Okay, for anaerobes, they are not effective. Coming to its pharmacokinetics, again, it is insoluble in lipids. So absorption is difficult. Okay, so not absorbed orally, given by either of the parenteral route, intramuscular or intravenous route. Distribution, lower concentration is achieved in most of the tissues. In most of the tissues, they are not deposited, that means, except in endolymph or renal cortex. So expect few adverse effects here. Aminoglycoside group of drug, they can get deposited in endolymph. Endolymph means inside air, and also in renal cortex. So these are the drugs, very good example of the drugs which have propensity to cause ototoxicity and nephrotoxicity. Okay, it is there in adverse effect as well. Do not penetrate blood-brain barrier and can cross placenta. Excretion. One of your colleague asked me this one in email, Saira, I think, right? She had query. So I think that was solved. And second written here for Saira and rest. In case of excretion, this group of drug, they are excreted in unchanged form, as it is active form by glomerular filtration. So whenever we say the drug in the unchanged form is excreted, okay, from urine, excreted from kidney, then, or from glomerular filtration, then we must understand that in case of patient having impaired renal function, renal impairment, or kidney diseases, those drugs are better to be avoided. Okay, they cannot function. That means the drug can accumulate because of impaired renal function or in renal failure. Adverse effects. I told you, as it gets deposited in the endolymph, it can cause auditory damage. It can cause vestibular damage. So let's see what are they. Okay, so overall, you can use the general term ototoxicity, but ototoxicity indicates 2 damages actually, auditory damage and vestibular damage. In auditory damage, there will be damage of the organ of corti and cochlea, and various symptoms will be seen, tinnitus, later hearing loss. Vestibular damage, there can be vertigo, ataxia, and loss of balance. एकदम रिङ्गटा लाग्ने, balance lose भएको जस्तो हुने. र auditory damage मा first the patient will start complaining of tinnitus, कान बजेको, कान कराएको भन्छ, त्यो सुरु हुन्छ. Once you notice that, once you hear back from your patient, you have to stop that. You have to take it as the alarming signs and symptoms of ototoxicity. Okay, you have to think of some other option or monitor the patient if you really need that drug. And it is basically dose and duration of treatment dependent. Okay, very predictable, but it is dependent on dose and duration of treatment. So prolonged therapy, higher doses, for that it is very, very dangerous. And once you start the therapy, it should be under monitoring of the specialist. Nephrotoxicity. Okay, from pharmacokinetics, I have told they get deposited in the renal cortex as well. So definitely they can cause direct toxicity to those cells. So nephrotoxicity. So early discontinuation of the offending drug usually reverses the renal damage. So this is also dose and duration of treatment dependent. So once you see signs and symptoms, how do you account for nephrotoxicity? Kasari measure garcha? Maybe you are not aware about that. So the renal clearance of particularly gentamicin is equal to the creatinine clearance. So we test the renal function before starting the drug. There is the normal range for the creatinine clearance from the body, and that is equal to clearance of gentamicin. So that is the basic baseline we take for nephrotoxicity. If the creatinine clearance decreases with the use of aminoglycoside group of drug, then what happens is that, what should it be indicated is that, okay, maybe there is nephrotoxicity started. Maybe the drug is deposited in the renal cortex, okay? So that's how we know that, and we go for early discontinuation. Once we know that, once the creatinine clearance is impaired, which is actually measurement of gentamicin clearance, aminoglycoside clearance, we can take them as alarming sign. We can take them as the signs and symptoms, and we discontinue the drug, or we do monitoring, we do various other measures. You will know that later. Similarly, there can be neuromuscular blockade. It is rare. You will be having, I think, this in one of the clinical problem as well. I'm not sure about the new manual, but anyway, aminoglycosides, rarely they can also cause neuromuscular blockade. They can inhibit the release of acetylcholine in the neuromuscular junction. So that thing you will be knowing in ANS block. Anyway, just remember that this is one of the group of drug which can cause neuromuscular blockade, particularly while it is used along with other neuromuscular blocking agent like muscle relaxants. Allergic reactions can occur. So just want to tell you about dosing regimen, and this one was also asked by one of your colleague. You might be having query like, do we need to know the dose? Dose हामीले कन्ट्रोल गर्नुपर्छ कि पर्दैन भन्ने भइरहेको हुन्छ. That's very obvious and wise to think about, हैन? Aminoglycosides को dosing regimen भन्यो. यो चाहिँ एकदम peculiar भएर सोध्न सक्ला. For very common drugs, it can be asked. Okay, but very frequently the dose won't be asked. For very common drug, you have to know the dose, and for those, the practical will help. You will be writing the prescription. There you will be knowing the strength of the drug, dosage form of the drug, dosage regimen of the drug, and everything you will be knowing. So that should help. So at the moment, like you might have noticed that I haven't given any dose range or doses regimen dose in my lectures hands out, and I haven't discussed. And this time for aminoglycosides, I'm just going to briefly discuss about its regimen. So something like that you have to understand, okay? You have to understand like that. Dose सोध्छ कि सोध्दैन भनेर आत्तिनु पर्दैन. जुन simple common drugs छ त्यसको डोज तिमीलाई आउँछ. तिमीले प्र्याक्टिकलमा पनि गर्छ, एक दुईवटा आफैले पनि हेर्ने र स्पटरहरुमा पहिला हामीले सोध्थ्यौं. अहिले सोध्ने गरेको छैन. धेरै स्टुडेन्टले बिगार्ने भएर. Previously we used to ask. Okay, sorry, my son has come here. So त्यसरी थाहा पाउने, don't need to worry at the moment. Don't panic. Okay. Aminoglycosides dosing regimen, as this is a drug having very higher propensity to cause renal damage, nephrotoxicity, and also vestibular and auditory damage. Let's have a quick look about that. So these are actually, we must say, amongst the antimicrobial narrow therapeutic index drug, narrow therapeutic window drug. So therapeutic drug monitoring is very, very essential regarding this drug, and also because of the dose and duration dependent adverse effect, particularly nephrotoxicity and ototoxicity, you have to monitor. So whenever patient is administered with aminoglycoside, as more of them, they are given by parenteral route, you will admit the patient at hospital. So you have to monitor. So nowadays, the recent recommendation has been made that a single total daily dose is more effective and less toxic than 8-hourly conventional dose. Have a look again. A single total daily dose, jati dose dinu parne, single dose morning time, for example, diyo bhane, that is more effective and less toxic than 8-hourly conventional dose. Paila 8-hourly regimen ma 8-hour interval ma you drug dinthyo, inject garthyo. But nowadays, the practitioners, they have gone to this now. They are trying with single daily dose, like they administer it in the morning and then don't give that 24 hours. Why is that? Can you think of that? What is one of the peculiar property, pharmacokinetic property of aminoglycoside group of drug? What kind of killing effect does it have? That's a time dependent or concentration dependent?
Concentration.
So once it reaches certain concentration, we give a dose in such a way that it reaches that concentration, and at that time, its effectiveness will be 6 to 8 or many times, many folds, the effectiveness will increase. And if somebody has raised hand, you can put that question in chat box. So if it happens, then the effectiveness will increase. And in addition to that, it has got post-antibiotic effect. Do you remember that? Okay, so concentration dependent killing. Therele samjeko cha, that is more than enough for me. Yeah, malai kasle bhakhar question sodeko jasto लाग्यो. Any question? Biswajit ki koile sodeko malai? Raise hand. गरिदियो. Nobody has kept something, put something in the chat box as well. Okay, anyway, due to concentration dependent killing, aminoglycoside single total daily dose given once a day is nowadays considered more effective and less toxic. Okay, that's fine. Less toxic than 8-hourly conventional dose. Some still try this one as well. Okay, it doesn't mean that 100% try this one. But nowadays, this is the recent recommendation. This is just recommendation, not mandatory. Maybe in your time, it can again change, evidence-based. Dose should be reduced in patients with impaired renal function. We know that why. Okay, so we will discuss the commonly used aminoglycosides. For classification, we are not going to go through them separately because they are local and systemic. So 3 local and systemic antibiotics we saw under this group of drugs, so there should be no problem. So commonly used aminoglycosides we are going to discuss in our next class. Okay, that should be quite straightforward, very peculiar characteristic like before, like in previous lectures, like in previous topics we will be discussing. Okay, if you have any question, you can ask me, otherwise we can leave. Okay, for next time there is no drug profile. Let me complete this topic and then we can start with drug profile. Sa kehi nabuzeko? Ekchoti hera la sabaile. Everybody please go through the lectures. La mero chorale herne la. Say hi. Hi gardeu la. Okay? Any confusions?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
On your own, please do regular studies. Then things are going to be sorted out very, very easily. It's very easy. Believe me, pharmacology is very easy because it's needed for your lifetime. You will be implementing later, and whoever have knowledge of pharmacology within these 2 years, whoever have study in their life is going to be very easy to you guys. Okay. Anyway, then good day. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome. Bye. Bye.